Welcome to episode 15 of Binge Moto. On this episode, we'll be joined by the man behind the rapidly growing Tampa Bay Motorcycle Riders group, Damieon Hulett. Did I say that right?
Yes, you are.
All right. We'll talk about the inspiration for the group, what are the Lightning Riders, and what it's like to host a group ride every week. Spoiler, it's a lot of work. I'll ask Damieon about the all-new Moto Station concept, and we'll find out how it's progressing. And before we get started, I want to apologize for the terrible audio on episode 14 from Barber last week. It may surprise you to learn I'm not an audio engineer, and recording in a large room with 4 guys and 1 mic may not be the way to go. Welcome, Damien.
Thank you.
Hey, good out of here. So we were talking about a little bit before we started. I was going to ask you ever been to Barber, but you said you haven't.
No.
It's one of those must-do trips. Like not only just for the museum, which is amazing because they have, every bike you could think of all the way up. I mean, there's like concept Ducatis there. They have the Paul Smart Ducati. They've got everything you could imagine in a motorcycle, and it's all pristine. It looks like they've never been ridden. Like Japanese bikes and European bikes and American bikes.
And this is a full museum.
I'll show you a photo that outside of it. It's literally 2 like modern glass buildings with a bridge in between. And then they've got like a bridge walkway that goes over the racetrack. That basically you can watch the guys racing from inside the museum.
Can you spend a day there?
You can spend a whole day. Yeah, you can spend
2
a day.
days. Yeah, it sounds like a 2-day trip.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's a great 2-day trip, I would say. I mean, yeah, I'll spend 2 days up there, and it's gonna be a day up and day back or whatever.
How long were you there?
So we rode up on Thursday, and then we spent Friday, Saturday at the festival, and then Sunday we ride home.
How many days would you say you spend there total? If you could have unlimited amount of time.
If I was going to go back, I might try to do the whole 3 because they have the festival's 3 days.
3 days.
It's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and they have different events every day. I mean, there's so much stuff to do when you get to the actual festival of it because they've got a huge swap meet with every kind of motorcycle part you could think of all the way back to the 1950s. There's guys selling full motorcycles. They've got T-shirts and signs, and it's like going to the old wagon wheel flea market, only it's all motorcycles. And then they've got demo stations from all the major brands are there, like Indian, Kawasaki, Yamaha, BMW, all of them, Roland-Feld. They're all there. They had like 10 different semis full of every brand. And then BMW and I think Kawasaki, both cars to Suzuki. They both had an off-road and an on-road demo.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
So
it's got a little bit of everything.
And some of the demo rides were awesome. Like we did the BMW ride, and the guy that led that ride was going all out. The Yamaha guy was more like, let's go the speed limit. And I never even got the bike. I was on an MT10. I never got out of second gear. Literally. Yeah. And then Triumph would actually you would sign a paper and they would just give you the bike and let you go. So my one buddy, he's like, I just did a personal best on Rocket 3.
That's awesome because most fest, if you will, they're geared toward one type or another, and it sounds like there's a little bit of everything.
Because I was going to ask you because you guys just did Octoberfest in Daytona.
Yeah, which
that is a pure cruiser environment, right?
Very much so. Yeah. You're definitely talking about the Harley guys. I didn't even see that many Indians. A lot of vintage stuff, a lot of very custom stuff sitting there in the parking lot.
Right.
Yeah. I will say that I've been to many of those Octoberfest. This may have been one of the better organized ones I've seen.
Oh, good.
The parking was not bad. We got to walk around unhindered. It wasn't huge crowds, and we got there on a Saturday.
Yeah, because I went to it maybe 2 years ago just for a day. We rode over and hung out for the day and then came back. And that was not my scene. I spent like half the day just sitting in gridlock, not being able to move.
We avoided that this time by not going to Main Street. So we wound up going to the Harley dealership there. And it was like a little city.
We stopped there first because my friend was working at, that's what he got us to go over there with him because he was going to be working at one of the booths. So we went to that first and then we're like, oh, let's go check out. And then we just spent the next 2 hours going 5 miles an hour.
Right.
So listen, everybody's competing.
Exactly.
On their
one of my favorite things is everyone else's music.
Yeah.
We enjoyed it. We left here as a group, and then we got to probably around 1, which we were smart enough to stay in St. Augustine, which is just north of Daytona.
Right.
And then it's just a quick 40 minutes straight down 95 into Daytona, and we spent 2 or 3 hours there.
That's fun.
I finally got my derby cover, which I'm excited about. Yes, yeah. That's why you go to those.
Yeah. So I went to it, like I said, a couple years ago, and I was just kind of like not in a rush to go back.
It doesn't change. It doesn't adapt with the times, and hence one of the reasons why we started the group.
Yeah.
It seems like that whole lifestyle is kind of stuck in that era.
Yeah. So like that's the difference. Like a couple of guys that were with me on Vintage Fest they said they just felt like there was a great diversity in the people that were attending it. There were a million Harleys and Indians, but there was guys on like little 2-strokes, and I saw a guy on a Moto Compacto, and there's guys on vintage, Japanese bikes. They had a whole Japanese vintage display set up on the outside of the museum with like, a couple hundred pristine 70s Japanese bikes.
And this fest is the annual thing.
It's an annual thing. This was the 20th annual, but the park is gorgeous. Like you pull in there and it's like you're pulling into Disneyland. They've got all the signs and everything, and it's just all manicured. And you can camp on site too. They have like tent camping, and then they also have campers. You can pull your camper on there.
So it's all in one centralized location.
It's
okay.
So the motor sports venue it's got the huge, like, whatever 2-mile racetrack in the middle, which has all the curves in it. They race Porsches there and cars and motorcycles and stuff. And then they've got the huge grandstands, or not, whatever, it's the inside kind, So we actually got the VIP tickets, so we're able to like go in there and watch in the air conditioning, and they have, lunch for you every day. That's usually like different kinds of spaghetti or whatever, but it was good. It was good food.
Food is food.
Yeah. And then, and you can also, with the VIP, you could go into the pits. So they had all that area there was cordoned off. So you had all the guys that were racing their vintage bikes with their trailers and their tents, their pop-ups set up there, and they're working on their bikes, trying to get them ready for their run, And, they're out there. There was a guy with a dyno in the back of his trailer, and he was like, Wah! You could hear it screaming.
That was very prominent at Octoberfest.
Yeah.
I think I saw 6 dynos in 100 feet.
Oh wow,
That
that's
was
crazy. Yeah. They had a race with sidecars, which is cool. The guys, the monkey,
Yeah, I've
they
seen
got
them
the
really not climb up on them. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that sounds a lot more interesting than and I hate to say it, but the same old Octoberfest, Bike Week.
Right.
This seems like just a more up-to-date version of all of that.
It is. I can't recommend it enough. I mean, I heard about it for years, but I kind of like, I'll go to Alabama or whatever. But then you get there and it's gorgeous too. Like the landscape around there is all hills and trees, and the demo ride, they take you out of the park and you go through all the.
I'd go just for the demo ride.
Yeah, it was great. So you could go like first thing in the morning and sign up for like 5 demo rides if you want to. You just, because they have them all timed off by which bike you want to be on. So I think I'm out in big groups,
like a Disney Fast Pass.
Exactly.
Yeah,
you come back at this time. Yeah, so
that's good though. And how many people do you think were there? As many as Bike Week, or?
It's hard to tell. Like I said, so the course itself is like I'm not sure how big the racetrack is, maybe 2 miles or whatever. And then around it, they've got an entire road that is like a big loop around it. And then around that loop, there's literally the side of the road is motorcycle parking. They have it like they have cordoned off with like just tape or whatever.
Yeah.
And the bikes are stacked, vertically all the way around the entire thing. And then they have a trolley that runs all day long. It's a pickup truck pulling a trolley. So if you want to hop on here and then hop off it. So like this shirt I'm wearing is from the Isle of Triumph, which they had a whole separate section for them. You basically walk through a tunnel that goes under the racetrack, and you come off in this area, and they've got a stage, and they have all the custom Triumphs there, and they've got all the new stuff. And then
sounds like Willy Wonka for motorcyclists.
Is exactly what it is. And then so BMW was the main sponsor this year. They had their whole motorrad. They had like 10 semi like trailers there that were on the ground level with every motorcycle they make this year in the lineup, all of them. They had the cop bike all the way down to like, the retro stuff, and
that's awesome.
Yeah, and you could hop on them and stuff. And like I said, I rode a BMW S1000 XR, which is a beast of a bike.
Yeah,
if you haven't watched, go back and look at the review I did of that. But I also made a 3-minute outtake video of me complaining about the seat, because for such a beautiful, fast, amazing bike, the seat on that bike is absolutely the worst thing ever. I was like, I recommend this bike for women that like to go fast, or people who enjoy testicular trauma, because it was just literally like every time I tapped the brakes, Jesus Christ. So, yeah, but anyway,
not a comfortable seat then, it sounds like.
No. But yeah, the BMW section was amazing. And they've got like, of course, every vendor you could think of there. They're selling, you know, every kind of helmets and jackets and backpacks and whatever, boots, anything you can think of. They had a stunt show there with the wheel of death or whatever, where the guys ride it on the wall.
Yeah.
And it's all like built around the outfield of the track. So you can literally just walk by the tents and you can stand on the hill, look down and see the guys going by on their vintage sport bikes.
That'd be fun. Yeah, I think I would enjoy just walking around seeing the different type of bikes.
Yeah.
And the museum sounds like that's perfect.
Yeah. And just, I mean, there are so many bikes that it's almost overwhelming because you'll go, if you were back in Tampa and you're like walking downtown and you saw this bike there, you'd be like, oh my God, you spend an hour looking at it. But there's like one every 10 feet.
No,
It's just like so many classic custom bikes.
things you haven't seen often anyway. So,
Right.
no.
Right.
I think that'd be my favorite part. That or shopping. I do enjoy finding new things. Even though we have multitudes of helmets, there's always room for one more if it's neat.
Oh yeah. I had to add more shelves in my garage just for all the stupid helmets.
Yeah.
I actually came home with a new helmet on the trip. The one I wore out there was just killing my ears. And we took one of my friend's bike in for a battery at a local dealer, and I'm in there looking at it and buying another helmet. So
Yeah, that's typically what happens. It's impossible for me to go to a fest or something like that without walking away with something I don't need.
yeah,
But it's okay. We had to build a cubby in our home just for all the helmets, so that way we just pick them as we go out.
yeah.
It's my favorite. Gloves, helmets, and pants. I'm always looking.
Yeah, I started with like one jacket, and then another jacket showed up. My wife's like, "What do you need two jackets?" I'm like,
I'm not allowed to buy jackets anymore.
yeah, no, I got a leather jacket. I've got a vintage jacket.
Then I need my summer jacket, my spring jacket,
Exactly.
the wet jacket, the dry jacket, and then the one that looks really good with the bike because it matches.
Right. Yeah, I was at a thing one night, and the owner of Tampa Triumph was there, and they had this wheel, and you spin the wheel, you get 90% off or whatever, and they had leather jackets there, like $550.
That's my jacket now.
Yeah, and I was
Yeah.
just like, wait, I can get this for $50? I'm like, I don't need it, but I'm gonna buy it.
It typically goes. It says Indian on it. I need it. It matches the bike line.
Right. Exactly.
And that's why I wound up with it. Yeah.
Very cool. So tell me a little bit about the Tampa Bay Motorcycle Riders group. What made you start it, and then how did it end up growing so fast? Because I'm an admin on a very small group now.
Yeah.
Been on it for years. I think we get like 5 members a month or whatever. We don't honestly. I think the problem is we don't do a lot of events anymore. We used to do a lot more events. That's the hard part.
It is. Yeah. And we don't do a lot, but I think Tampa Bay Motorcycle Riders is the cause of it. I should say is probably greed. I've been riding since I was 16. When I moved to the area, I got rid of motorcycles for a little while, and when I got back into them a year or so ago, I was looking for people to ride with. That's what I'm used to. Wherever I've ridden, in the military or wherever it may be, there was always a group of you doing it. I joined a group, and I was asking for people to ride, and they didn't want me posting or starting rides in their group.
Okay.
So they would delete them.
Oh wow.
And it started out of obviously greed on their part, but frustration on my part. And I said, I'm gonna start a group. I'm gonna start my own little Facebook page. And it was just 3 people I knew. We just rode.
Right.
And from those 3 people, I thought we were doing great after a couple of months when it was 20.
Yeah.
And 6 would show up, and we were having a good time riding. And that's when
That's a good size too for a group. 6.
6. Yeah, no, I thought it was. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah.
After 2 or 3 months, that's just kind of where it was. It was no big deal. We started always riding on Sundays.
Yeah.
We're going to ride a Sunday, 10 a.m. no matter what. So it was kind of a commitment just amongst us.
Right.
That's our guy day, if you will. And being where we were essentially located in Pinellas County, we were getting a lot of motorcyclists that were calling into the gas station where we were meeting. And slowly but surely, it went for that 2 month, left 25, to the next month, it was 300. And then the next month, it was 500. And I thought that was just fantastic. I'm like, oh, won the lottery or whatever the case may be. We have a lot of new riders, new friends. The unique thing was it was never the same people riding with us.
Right.
It was almost like they had a silent goal of switching out just to mess with us every week. And it would be 12, 15. I think the most we've rode out with at this point is 51 people on one Sunday. And
I was on one of those, right? Because sometimes you guys will come up north and you'll have a second stop. And I went to the second stop and there was 20 people there. And then they were like, oh no, we're not the main group. They're not even here yet.
That was Cedar Key, right?
Yeah, the Cedar Key. Yeah.
Yeah, that surprised me too. When we came out the highway, I'm like, this is a lot of people following me. This is a lot of responsibility. And then as I exit, I looked at the gas station. I was like, this just doubled in responsibility. There's just as many people here. So that was a fantastic ride.
Yeah, that was fun. Yeah.
And it's just slowly grown. So I would say our whole premise behind our group is that it's not just to say a riding group or a club or however you want to mention it. And we really don't like to use the term club because we're not a motorcycle.
Yeah, you're not wearing the vest, and you know how passionate.
It's actually something we refuse to do. It's been brought up multiple times, and we'll never do that. I want people to feel comfortable no matter what. And I think that kind of lends toward a
It does
different
alienate
perception.
people. Yeah.
At this point, I think we're at 3,500 people after 7 months, and it's not slowing down. It's doing very well. Our group really does, though, focus around changing the perception of the biker. I didn't want that perception of we're just a bunch of Harley guys with black vests, black leather, orange and black, bar, that feel about it. I wanted it to.
And you do ride a Harley.
I do ride a Harley now.
Yeah,
for sure. It's important to me that
See, I've never hated Harley. It's always been the culture that's kind of steered me.
that ties to it, right?
Yeah. It feels like because I had friends that rode them, and then I was like, oh, I'm getting ready to get back into motorcycle. I'm like, you have to have a Harley. You have to do this. And I was kind of like, no, I think I don't have to.
I'm trying to do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And I've always been that way. I've owned hundreds of bikes. Yeah, from the time I was 16 till now in the 40s. It's just whatever you're comfortable on. What's doing the job for you at that time, or what are you just attracted to?
Right.
But the one thing we really wanted to eliminate with the group, once I realized it was turning into something more than just 6 riding buddies.
Yeah.
Is I wanted the guy from Walgreens that works behind the counter to be comfortable riding next to the biker guy that's been doing it for 60 years.
Right.
And it was super important to change that perception. So if I was going to call us anything, we're a lifestyle. It's people that just love motorcycles, that are enthusiastic about it, that want to be safe, or not silly. Like we do tend to see a lot of that, especially in our area. And we just want to do it in a group environment where everyone's having a good time and entertainment. Tampa Bay Motorcycle Riders, that's essentially what we are. It's just safe riders.
That's good. Yeah.
We recently started doing safety classes. So one of our members, I guess you could say, he's an admin now, actually, is starting doing twice a month a group riding class. That's been pretty successful. So we're only doing
That's good.
5 people per admin.
When I got back into motorcycle riding, which has been about 7 years ago, same, I was like you. I was like 19 or 20 when I got my license, and I rode for 5 or 10 years or whatever. And then same thing, life happens, family, kids, all that stuff. And so I bought a bike like 7 years ago, and literally I bought the bike on Friday, and then Saturday was the DGR, and the guy that told me the bike was running the DGR. He said, "You got to come." And so the next day I went and did DGR with like 120 bikes or whatever. I had never ridden in a group. It's stressful because when I was younger, I didn't ride in groups. It's just me and my buddies would go out.
Right.
And so now I'm in this group and staggered formation. I don't know any of the rules. I don't know if people are doing this or this, kicking their feet out. Like, why do they keep pointing their feet out? I didn't know what they were doing,
Right. And that's
so
where
it would help if you're a new rider to have somebody teach you the basics at least.
And that's where that stems from. So we were seeing a lot of people posting in other motorcycle groups or Facebook pages or whatever the case may be. New rider, riding by myself, nervous. Is anybody, riding? One of the things that baffled me, which didn't make sense to me, but I guess it makes sense to some, is new rider riding at night because I feel safer. And I'm like, I would absolutely, as a new rider, would not have felt safer at night.
Yeah.
In St. Pete at that. So we started trying to gather them. And that was how we started getting those original numbers, is we would see those posts. Hey, we'll come pick you up on Sunday. You don't have to come to where we are. We'll bring the group to your gas station, and you just kind of fold you in. And our members started embracing that idea of helping a new rider feel more comfortable, don't feel nervous, ride your own ride, to keep the same pace. And we try to keep the group rides within safety parameters, safe driving practices or whatever the case.
Yeah, I'm not going to name the other group that's local, that's big, but I went on a group ride with them a couple months ago, and we hit the veterans, and it was a lot of bikes. I mean, I'm talking 50, 60 bikes. And within like 5 seconds, we were doing like 100 miles an hour on the veterans, like, whipping in and out of car. I kind of stayed along just to see. It was one of those. I'm like, when we got to the next stop, we left. We went and did our own thing. But I was just like, oh my God, I can't believe
and that's what you tend to see, especially around this area.
I mean, they're doing wheelies down the veterans.
Right. And there's no structure, no guidelines, no safety. Yeah. And that's what we want to promote. I mean, let's be fair. Bikers already have a bad perception. We're reckless. We speed nonstop. We're endangering ourselves and others. So it was very important that we keep our group within those guidelines. So, hey, we're going to do the speed limit. We're going to stay staggered, like you said. Start hosting these classes where we can teach new people to feel more comfortable, because most motorcycle courses aren't really filled out. Can you do this, this, and this? Could you pass? Right. So what about those other steps? So it was really important when we sat down and talked about it that we take the knowledge that, say, you have had since you were riding since you were 19, I've had since I was 16. How we pass that common sense knowledge on, that earned knowledge onto the next generation, because there's really not a lot for them. And most younger guys are too nervous to go talk to, say, that 55-year-old guy, a 60-year-old guy at OCC. Right. And I'm not going to talk to you and ask you, hey, how do you handle this? How do you handle that? So we wanted to give them a place where they could feel comfortable. And again, that's why we started Tampa Bay Motorcycle Riders, which has led into the Lightning Riders, which are more like mentors within the group itself.
Okay. Yeah. That was one of the questions I had, was about the Lightning Riders. Like, what exactly?
It started out as I wanted to create something within the group that kind of almost rewarded the original members. We came out with t-shirts on Etsy just because it was easy. That was like the first 500 or the first 1,000 people.
Yeah.
Then I was like, what about those guys though that have knowledge, that have supported us from the beginning?
And you know, there are always certain guys that come to almost everything.
Every single thing. Yeah. And you grow close to them and you expect them. And when they don't show up, now you're like, where's that person? Yeah. What happened? Is he okay? But we wanted to create something exclusive. And I was like, how can I go about doing something that ties to the group that would almost reward those people and then allow other people to join as well if they had something to bring to the table? And it's not, I wouldn't say a selfish thing or anything like that, but someone that has, say, riding class knowledge or someone that's been riding forever like us.
Right.
So I came up with the idea of the Lightning Riders. And you get a lot of pushback because immediately people start thinking motorcycle club again. Oh, yeah, we're going to have dues and things of that nature. And because there is dues tied to it. And what I promised from the get-go, and which we've been able to hold true to for the last 4 months, is full transparency. Yeah. None of the funds will ever be used.
Right.
You're not anything other than Lightning Rider events.
You're not trying to buy a second Harley.
Right.
You're using it to help grow the group and make better events.
Exactly. My ultimate goal would be to have enough people within the program that it pays for a trip for everyone in the program, where they don't have to pay anything.
Right.
Right now, we've been using the funds for a couple of things. We've used a little bit for charities because unfortunately, we've had a couple of accidents. We've used it to pay for any paraphernalia for the Lightning Riders. And more recently, we're paying for a portion of the trip, of everyone's trip to Steinhatchee, Florida in January.
Okay.
So we're going to continue to do that and fully be transparent and give everyone the information.
Right. And so now, like, for that Steinhatchee trip, if I'm not a Lightning Rider, I can just go and pay my own way? Or?
No. That's the benefit of being a Lightning Rider. But I'm glad that you said that.
Okay, because I'm curious. It is a separate trip.
So we wanted to make it as exclusive feeling as possible. And what that meant was creating trips for what we're calling all rides. So every member, Tampa Bay Motorcycle Rider or Lightning Rider, can participate. And Lightning Riders have their own exclusive trips. And what we wanted to, I hate to say reward them with, is time amongst themselves. Right. Because we do have them doing a lot of responsibilities within the group, which they wanted to do and volunteer for. But because they do so much mentoring and things of that nature for a lot of the newer riders, we wanted to give them a time to themselves. And there's probably a dozen or so trips like that planned for this next year.
Oh, wow. That's a lot.
And we have a lot of all ride trips. So anyone can join the Lightning Riders. We don't have an issue with that. So you don't have to be a veteran. You don't have to be anything. If you just want to be active in the community, you just have to pay. If you're paying the dues in there, incredibly cheap. It's $20 or something like that.
Yeah, it's not bad.
And you get the shirts immediately. And it's been really entertaining seeing all these people kind of blossom and grow. A lot of nervous people open up because they're part of this more exclusive side of things.
Right. That's a good idea.
Yeah, I enjoy it very much. There's more benefits too. So we have a lot of local businesses, especially members within the group that own their own business, or I can talk on behalf of that business. They've been offering discounts to Tampa Bay Motorcycle Riders. And actually, in turn, Lightning Riders get a slightly different discount, which is another benefit. And then the moto station thing, of course.
Yeah.
We'll get into that. Yeah. But Lightning Riders, to me, feels like just a more experienced rider, or someone that has something,
or the desire to be amongst the more experienced riders.
Right. And learn through osmosis. Right. If you want to be a part of that and be able to pick the brains of these people.
Yeah. And plus, like, if you get involved at that level, like, say you're not the experienced, but you join that group, then you can learn how to lead group rides and plan and all that stuff. Because I did that. I mean, I went from like going on that DGR with no experience to within like a year, I was like leading rides in that group. They made me an admin. And next thing I'm I'm looking behind me and there's like 80 people behind me. I'm like, what the hell am I doing?
Yeah. And to anybody that thinks that's easy,
It's not.
it's
Yeah,
not.
it's
It
terribly
looks easy.
stressful. It's very stressful because you're always looking back, and especially if you don't have a guy on comms in the back, and like all of a sudden you look back and like, where half the guys are gone. Where did they go?
I've been doing this for a better part of 20 plus years, and it's still nerve wracking to some degree. From the outside looking in, if you're in a car riding by, it's like, oh, that guy's in charge and he's having a blast. On the inside of the leader, you're just on alert constantly, checking spacing, watching lights, checking cars.
Yeah, like, why is that guy lining himself up behind? Now the group's getting, and the car pulls in, and you're like, oh, come on, speed up.
It's from a perception standpoint, leading the ride is definitely difficult. From the outside looking in, it looks easy, but just remember, you're responsible for upwards to 100 people. I've seen group rides that were 100 plus people, and you got to make sure every one of those people.
Yeah, actually, I led the DGR 2 years ago. Now that's a little different because we had a police escort,
Right.
so we had FHP in the front and back. But the same thing happened. I was in the front. I had actually they let me lead it because I made the route that year. So that was another thing making me nervous because they're like design a route. So I from this side of the bay to that side of the bay, and I'm like there was a part that kind of went through a neighborhood, and I was a little nervous about that. Like, would people be mad about it?
Right.
Actually turned out great. People came out in the street and were waving at us as we went by and
That's
stuff.
awesome. Man.
Yeah, but at a certain point, I looked back and then like half the people were gone, and then some guy crashed his Triumph on the bridge going over the Bayside Bridge.
Oh, like it's never even.
Yeah, and so then like the second cop, he stopped, of course, the guy in the back, and so I got there, and the other guy comes to me and goes, "Hey, did you hear about the guy?" And I'm like, "I don't know what you're talking. I'm looking at you, bro." Like
that's the hardest part, right? Especially when you're in the front, it's really hard to keep track of everybody. And once that group gets so big, you're just hoping that
like Constantine, it goes back and forth, and it's like,
the best places to check to me are on curves because then you can kind of see everybody stretched out.
Yeah,
it's nerve wracking. It's tougher to be the leader of the group, and it's one of the things I had to revisit and knock the rust off of when we created this Facebook group. So
exactly. Yeah.
It's been fun. It's been a great experience. I've met a ton of amazing people. One of the things that I do enjoy is it seems like we're weeding out as we go the people that are in different spots in their motorcycle lifestyle, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
So we're not getting a lot of the stunters anymore. We're not getting a lot of street bike speeders anymore because they realize what our group stands for.
Yeah, and it's fine. They
have their place. Yeah, and the speech we give, one of the lines in the speech we give every single Sunday is if you want to mess around, if you want to speed, if you want to have fun, I have no problems with just leave the group and do that. And then when you're done, you can come back to the group.
Right.
And we'll continue on. But we've been able to keep it very, very safe. Keep the new people where they need to be for safety reasons, making them definitely more confident. It's been really fun watching those new riders riding on their own. I'll go down the road and I see them go where they would have never done that before. So it feels pretty good. It feels like a big work.
It's been great. I love some off the nest. And
yeah, it's been good. Yeah, I enjoy it.
Cool.
And then hopefully TBMR continues to grow. It's definitely, I'm proud of it. Let's say that.
Yeah. So you have these overnight trips. How do you go about planning those? And how do you go about picking the destination?
Well, that's the fun part. So one thing I've always preached is for me, it's never the destination. It's about the ride to the destination. As I've gotten older, it's become the destination.
Yeah.
These overnight rides started as selfishness on my part. I want to go on a ride. Yeah. I want to go far. I want to go stay the night someplace.
Yeah, it's tough because the worst thing about there's a lot of great things about living in Florida. The worst thing about it is every road here is long and straight, and there is no good.
They're all the same.
They're all the same. Yeah. So like you could go from here to any part of Florida, and then you might see sugar cane if you're in South Florida, or you might see cow pastures if you're in Ocala.
No matter where you go, it's not really changing much.
Not changing. Yeah.
The overnight started as a selfish thing. I wanted to get out. I wanted to ride farther. I had just gotten another new bike at that time, so I want to get this thing on the road and see what it does. And my premise back then was, if you're behind me when I leave, then you're going on the trip with me. And you don't have to like where I'm going. I'm going.
Right.
But it turned into, let's pick something within a couple hours, because like most people our age, we have responsibilities and stuff. So if I pick something that's within 5 hours, I can get there in a day, stay the night, and come back.
Right.
And I think our first ride was to St. Augustine.
Yeah.
And I didn't have hopes that anybody was going to go. So I pull up to the gas station, and they were already waiting on me an hour before we were to leave, because I was like, let me get there early to make it an example. And that ride that normally takes a car of 3.5 hours is about 5 on the bike if you stop, stretch, gas, and whatever the case may be. And I was hooked from there. I was like, these little one-day rides are real simple. And anyone can do them. So it kind of fit the TBMR, anybody rides with us type thing, because anybody that's off on the weekend could do these trips and feel like we're on a motorcycle trip. Like you tend to go off for
So
multiple days, right?
So usually I try to do like in the spring and the fall, I'll try to do like a trip up to the mountains
Yeah.
because I'll take maybe Thursday through Monday or whatever. Got to squeeze a weekend in there.
Yeah.
Because it's going to take you a day to get up. Usually what I'll do is I'll ride to Atlanta, or if my one buddy goes, we trailer to Atlanta. But in Atlanta, my son lives there, so I'll go up there with him that night. Then the next morning, within an hour, he could be in the mountains from Atlanta. He just
And the thing I had to think about was not everyone can do like a weekend where we can just go away for a week or whatever. Okay. So I was like, how can I make it feel like it's a motorcycle trip
right
with a group, but not take them away from work or make them pick a day off or where it gets.
Yeah, that's the hard part. Like,
so leaving,
it's hard to get out of Florida in less than a day.
Yeah, it's tough. It's very tough. So I had to start looking at destinations that not only were safe to go the route to, could accommodate us if there was a number of motorcycle rides, and would be kind of
interesting and fun when you're there.
Interesting and fun. And I would say almost like a generic fun because it had to be fun for every type of person.
Yeah.
So we started looking at destinations, and it again, selfishly, and I want to make sure I enjoy it.
The Keys is a nice trip, which
the Keys I've done many times, and that's on our list for this year, which we just put on Facebook, was a complete calendar for 2026.
We did that a couple years ago. Or was it last year?
The Keys is phenomenal if you hit it at the right time.
Yeah.
You can't hit Miami at the wrong time, because if you do, you just extended 5 hours.
Yeah. So for that trip, what we did is we actually rode to Miami, to Fort Lauderdale, and spent the night. And then the next day we rode all the way down to Key West, spent a couple hours Key West, and we stayed back like halfway up the Keys, like in Almorado or something.
Yeah.
And then from there we drove back home the next day.
When I did the Keys, it was we rode all the way from Jacksonville at that point, all the way down to Key West.
Yeah.
One day.
Yeah. That's a good day. That's like an 8-hour day.
We realized how much that.
Yeah.
And a 2-day trip turned into a 5-day trip. We just stayed for 4 more days.
Oh, okay.
So we had rest. But the destination trips I try to keep them simple, because there's already a lot of stress leading that group.
Yeah.
And I want to make it affordable. So one thing that me and my wife really drove home was getting as good of a discount for as many people as we could. And we would call ahead to the hotels months ahead of time.
Yeah.
And we make sure that we're getting some form of discount for being there. And that's benefited the group the whole way. So we've had more people become because it's more affordable.
Right.
Than probably would have, for sure. This year, we're moving on from overnights. We have a few of those, but we're now also introducing 2-day, 4-day, and 5-day trips.
That's great. Yeah.
And the 5-day trip that's planned thus far is Tail of the Dragon this year.
Yeah. So I just did that when I did the week before Barber. I did a rally in Tennessee, and I'll have to share this with you. I'll show you some pictures when we get off here. But there's a hotel in Seaverville called the Motorcycle Inn. It's made by a friend of mine, Vishal Patel. And he owns a Comfort Inn there, and he had like a separate building, and he loves motorcycles. He owns like 50, 60, like high-end, beautiful, amazing motorcycles. And so what he started doing, he had like a separate building. It used to be like the lodge suites or something. And it kind of just became a storage for his bikes. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to make this into a motorcycle inn. And so each individual room is a different brand. So he has like the Yamaha room. So on the front of the door, it says Yamaha. You open it, and like the ceiling has a handcrafted wooden shape of Japan light. And then it's got an actual Yamaha in the room behind a glass case. And then like posters of the bike racing.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
And then they've got a Ducati room, and they've got, a Harley room and an Indian room. And he's got like a meeting room upstairs, which is where we recorded
Does it have a custom scents in each area? Like the Harley room should
everything is custom, and it's I'll show you some photos. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I can't. That'd be neat.
In the lobby of that particular side of the hotel, he has like the rest of his collections all in there. It's like, I don't know, another 20, 30 bikes in there, and they're all set up in certain orders, like all the cafe racers, and he's got a bunch of race bikes and just all everything. Like, and he's the sweetest guy ever. Like, he was telling a story about this kid came for his birthday, and his dad were coming there, and he had a Indian FTR race bike with 0 miles on it. And the guy's like, that's his dream bike. And the guy's like, all right, let's take it. And he took it out and he put miles on it, like to go Tail of the Dragon and stuff. So yeah, from there we did, on the way there, actually, my buddy from Binge Moto, Bryan, who's kind of a frequent co-host here, we did Tail of the Dragon, Trailhouse Skyway, and then we went to the rally. And from the rally, we did a Rattler, and we did Butterfly Gap Road, to Top of the World, Tennessee. That was all in like 4 days. It was They had 2 rides every day. They had the Smell the Roses ride, which was like 7 hours. And then they had the Hold Your Pee ride, which is like a 10-hour. It was like bananas. The guys on those trips were, no way was I going to go on the long ride, because they also have another museum up there called Wheels of Time. Have you heard of that?
No, I haven't been up there.
Oh, that's if you get up if you get up in that area, make Wheels of Time a stop. I think it's like $15 to get in. It's not the same as the Barber Museum. It's like basically a 2-story building, but it's also amazing. They have so many more. So the guy that used to own it, he's kind of like a legend up there, and I don't know, it's hard to explain, but it's worth it. Yeah, no, it's a good stop.
We're looking forward to that trip. So that's something we've been planning for the last 2 or 3 months.
What is that one?
I'd have to look at the calendar. I believe that's going to be in the middle of the year, so probably like June, July.
Okay, yeah.
We're keeping all those.
Yeah, you got to keep it in
northern places in the hotter months of
right,
and then
exactly.
so forth. I know that we have New Orleans, the 3 big ones, I guess.
Oh, New Orleans is a good one.
New Orleans, Tennessee, and then Key West. Those are our 3 bigger, longer, multi-day things, and they're tied. They're even, I guess you could say, it's tied between the Lightning Riders and then an all ride.
Yeah.
One of the biggest misconceptions was TBMR. You can't be a member of that if you're not a member of Lightning Riders. And the one thing that we really have been trying to drive home, because it's, I guess, confusing in the beginning, was 2 separate groups.
Yeah.
But they're still under the same umbrella. Right.
And yeah, because I made that video about it, and I was talking about it, and I was telling my friend, like, I don't know exactly how this works, you know. Yeah. That's why you actually call them on the phone. You're like, hey, this is what's going on. So
right. And I wanted to be able to have a group of people and use the funds from that to do cool things for that group of people. And that was
New Orleans is fun. I did it. I've done it twice on a motorcycle. Once we were going on a family vacation, and I finished up work a couple of days early. And I'm like, let me see how far I can get in those couple of days before our trip. So I started just riding. I never done so if you're on that trip, you could actually stop in places like Apalachicola and stuff, where they have all the fishing villages and stuff.
Yeah.
So I just hugged the coast. They have some lighthouse made out of wine bottles and stupid stuff like that. You know, it's kind of like the world's biggest yard. Yeah. So I did all that stuff, and then I was like, I think I can make it all the way to New Orleans. So I went all the way to New Orleans and spent a night in New Orleans, walked around the French Quarter. Next day, got up, had beignets, and then I rode all the way home in one day. So
that would be well, that's how one does.
Yeah.
You take your time, get in there to have fun, and then.
But then on my cross country trip, that was one of the last stops. It just worked out perfectly where the Bucks were playing the Saints that weekend. So my son flew over from Atlanta, and him and I went I had to rent a truck for the day because he wouldn't get on the bike. So this was the craziest thing. So they don't have the scenario where somebody renting a car would want to park their car, because it doesn't make sense, right? Usually people come off the plane and go rent the car. Right. But I was on the motorcycle, so I rode the motorcycle into long-term parking, and then I had no way to get to the rental place, which is like half mile down the road. So I literally I was walking down the middle. There was no sidewalks because nobody would ever walk there. Right. So I'm carrying my bag, walking down the middle of the street, in the airport. But
that would be, I'm looking forward to New Orleans just for the history. I do like riding through older cities, especially on a motorcycle. It's fantastic because you have that full 360 view when you go through these older streets, these cobblestones.
Oh yeah, you can just ride around it's pothole city though.
And the sound of your motorcycle off those old walls.
And around that area, there's a lot of great, like when I was on my way to the city, going from like the Baton Rouge area or whatever, there's just all these great sugarcane farms and stuff. You're just riding through it. Like
that's awesome. Yeah. And I always look for that. Anytime we go to a new city on motorcycles, like, all right, where's the locals riding at? Where are those guys? What are they taking?
But I mean, and the food and the culture there, it's just
well, and that's half the problem.
Yeah.
I like food, so I definitely want to look for places to eat and something unique. What is this city known for? What is this destination known for?
Oh yeah, they've got so many great restaurants there.
I'm on board.
And the vibe is off the charts.
So I believe that's the first half of the year we'll be going to New Orleans. Yeah. So we're definitely planning multiple day trips. We want to do those at least every other month, if not every month, depending on, especially say the last 3 months we've had multiple rides, or destination rides, just because we're packing everything in the year.
Yeah.
So learning from what we learned from this year with TBMR and first starting out, and we're now applying those lessons to the second year and having it completely planned out so people can plan ahead of time. That seemed to be one of the biggest feedbacks is I didn't have enough time, or I didn't know. Yeah, that's what we were doing.
Right.
We've got it out for the whole year. You have no reason now.
Yeah.
And anyone that's looking to ride, we do it definitely every Sunday at 10 a.m. Same place, Wawa, down Largo.
Yeah. I'm going to try to make some of those. What usually happens is I always have other things to go to. So it's always like competing or whatever.
Well, the good news is we're there every Sunday. So at some point, everybody catches up with us. So it's pretty fun. Other than that, we're looking to do a lot more charity stuff. So we have a veterans homeless outreach thing where we're collecting donations for that. Recently, unfortunately, one of our members had a motorcycle accident and passed. So we're doing a charity event at a potluck in November.
Okay.
So we're taking donations and things for that, for both of those events. And now we're doing a toy run around about that same time. So we're collecting toys to donate to anyone that needs them more than us. So
It actually reminds me, I'm friends with Jennifer and Butch Ringelsbaugh, and they have a group called St. Pete Moto Meetups, and we have an event coming up. They're graciously allowing me to kind of tag on, be a co-host on December 13th, which I'll
yeah,
yeah. They've done a ride in the past, and what they usually do is they get together with like a local brewery or something, and then they'll just have like a special motorcycle parking, and then I think they're doing like an ugly sweater contest and stuff like that, and just to hang out.
I think that's important. And again, that's changing the perception. It's not a bunch of old bikers drinking and partying and being loud and obnoxious. It's changing the perspective. Just having a good time. It's a gathering. It's a place where you can.
Right, exactly. Yeah. We just truck and music and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
We just did a Voodoo Brewery over in Valrico. We just did a trunk or treat.
Yeah.
Thursday night. Phenomenal. The reactions that we were getting were phenomenal. We had one of our admins running it, and a few of the other admins were there, but literally motorcycle trunks full of candy were passing it out. We had a costume contest. It was pretty nice partnering with them. I think moving forward, we're going to be looking to start our own bike night. So we're going to start hosting all our own events with all of our information. We're going to find a local business, preferably on the vanilla side for now, and start giving locally. So one of our biggest things we like to do is when we do show up somewhere in numbers, if you will, as they say in the bike community, we want to show up to local businesses. Chains have their own backup. Let's help the local businesses that are doing something significant. Right. So that's what we're looking for now. And feel free to let us know if you know of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
No, what's the point of having a local motorcycle group if you can't give back to the local businesses? Right. So we're all about that.
So speaking of motorcycle businesses, this kind of leads us into our next subject.
The subject on everyone's mind.
The Moto Station.
Moto Hub. It's got 3 names right now because we haven't landed on anything specific.
Okay.
But
so have you found a property? Are you
No. That's actually been the toughest part of this whole process. I've had multiple businesses.
Yeah, so you're saying like finding the property.
Yeah, finding the property has been the hardest part, mainly because of what we're trying to create. So the misconception in the beginning was we were trying to create a motorcycle service center. And that's not it at all. It kind of came to me walking in the mall, as empty as the malls are now.
Yeah.
And I was like, what would be nice to fill this void? Because there's a ton of empty shops in most malls. Malls are empty themselves. And I was like, wouldn't it be neat if everything motorcycle related is in one place? And especially gear, if you want gear, you go to this place. If you need your service, you go to your dealership, or you know a guy that works on them on the side. If you need custom stuff, you're ordering it online.
Right.
If you want it wrapped, you got to find somebody that's willing to do it because it's plastic, and so forth and so forth. And I was like, how can I bring this concept to one place? And then on top of that, how can I help the people that have supported TBMR? So one of our biggest supporters from the get-go was a small mechanic shop. This guy is fantastic. He works on any type of bike at Prana Motorsport.
Right.
And I was like, so how can I give back to him at the same time as I'm trying to accomplish his task? Well, I'll have somebody that does service there. The whole idea in my head when I was first thinking of it was a cutout of a section of the mall where there's 3 stores on one side, 3 stores on the other side. In my head, when I created this, it was going to be service center, wrap, detail, paint, custom, whatever the case may be, and then food trucks outside, food trucks, coffee shops, or something. And then it dawned on me, I was like, it would be really nice if I could create this place and not only have it as a place where you can go and make purchases, motorcycle related purchases, but it could be a hangout,
right?
Because there's not a lot that where you can talk to like-minded individuals unless you just happen to run into them.
Yeah, I mean, some of the dealerships have couches and stuff.
They have a couch or two.
And I'll go hang out at Tampa Triumph for an hour once in a while, but I'm not.
Yeah, and most of the time you're hanging out because you're waiting.
You're waiting, yeah. It just becomes weird if you show up there every weekend.
Yeah, it's creepy.
Why is he here again?
He's not buying. So I wanted to add a space within this realm, for members of Tampa Bay Motorcycle Riders, and just regular folks to hang out. And then the Lightning Riders were born. And it's like, okay, so now I want a Lightning Riders lounge, and this would be a lounge where they can hang out.
Right.
But I want a place to have events. So both inside and outside. And I want it to be where a motorcycle can pull in, do what they need to do, and then pull right back out, almost like a drive-through. If you will.
Yeah.
So finding something that fits that building wise, code wise, has been pretty tough because you have a lot of things going on. You're going to have food services there.
Yeah.
You're going to have mechanics, so you're dealing with chemicals. You're going to need the specialized lighting. You're going to need a certain type of electrical. You're going to need water, certain type of plumbing. Finding something that fits that bill has been pretty difficult. Now we do have it narrowed down to about 4. And now we're looking at the footprint. How much space is each individual item going to have? So now which building is going to fit that? And we're definitely leaning toward it being customization, service, detail, kind of daily maintenance things, if you will, more heavily toward that.
Yeah.
But we're also now adding in other services. So we're in negotiations to talk to, say, a tattoo artist and things of that nature. Anything motorcycle related.
Yeah, because like what you're describing is kind of like bike shed territory, but
Yeah.
the bike shed doesn't have all the other stuff you're talking about.
Right.
They do have barbershops or tattoo artists and place to hang out and coffee and all that, but they don't really have service.
Right. We want the more practical stuff to be taken. Yeah. So we have OCC here locally.
Right.
The whole point of me doing this, besides having everything in one position, was again changing the way we view the lifestyle.
Right.
When you go to OCC, you go to a Harley event. It's rock and roll bands, drinking, dark leather, and a bunch of Harley guys.
Yeah.
We want to drive home the idea that the Moto Station, Moto Hub, whatever it winds up being called specifically, is open to everyone.
Yeah.
We're not playing the Harley hate street bike or street bike hate Harley thing. It's open to everybody. And that's the environment we want to foster. We want you to feel comfortable bringing your family there for the event nights and just as comfortable showing up by yourself.
Right.
If we can find the building and get the inspections and it does fit the bill, we'll have everything done by the end of this year. I was really hoping to have it done by the middle of the year, but the building portion, the part that I thought would be a little easier.
Yeah.
If it comes down to it, we may have to build something, but we'll see how it goes with these buildings we picked out.
Right. Yeah, I'm excited. I have a friend that Brandon from Action Motorcycles. He was like, I want all the details because he's always looking for something to like. He's heavily invested in the bike shed. I don't know exactly like what format, but he was just over there again for like the second time in a month.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. So he loves that whole concept, and he's going to the one in LA I think next month or whatever. So
we're really we've secured a lot of the folks, and the way we do want everyone to kind of think about this is it is going to be a lot like the mall. So we're going to be supporting those local businesses that have motorcycle relations by allowing them into their own individual spots in there to operate the way they want. We're just providing the facility.
right.
So we are definitely locked in with a full service for any motorcycle. Currently wraps, we'll be able to have someone there to do wraps. We have someone that's going to be doing any stitching or embroidery other than seats. So anything that you want to do to your jackets, hats, helmets, or anything like that. And detail. We have a full service detail. It'll be self-service as well as someone that does motorcycle details for sale.
That's very cool.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. We've been meeting with designers to design specifically motorcycle wash bays. They're very similar to cars, but the water pressure would be a lot lower.
Yeah.
And they're obviously smaller spots. But you'll be able to go in there and do a self-service wash if you just need to rinse off after a ride or where to get those love bugs off.
Oh, right.
And I'm looking forward to it. I want my own. So I'm talking to see if I can get my own private bay just for me. Just because I have so many months.
Right.
But it's shaping up to be a very hard endeavor, but I think it'll be something new. I think it'll be something no one's seen and definitely something that we can spread.
I was saying if it takes off, then you just keep.
And that's our goal. If I had it my way, TBMR is going to turn into something else, and we'll change that name appropriately as it comes to that point where we're so large that we're spreading. Because it's going to be weird if you live in California and you're TBMR.
Yeah.
But what we want to have is a safe place or a sociable place in every state. So at least every major city. If we can get Moto Station, Moto Hub in every major city, then you always know you have a place to get the bike worked on, or you can take a break. And it's someplace you're familiar. It's you've been to it. It's
right.
A network, if you will, for us, and for everyone, not just Harley.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, because that's the thing. Like when you're on the road, you do notice the overwhelming number of Harley dealerships.
Yeah.
Like every major city, or even not even major, mid-sized city you pass through, there's a massive Harley dealership.
You tend to see that when it comes to anything,
Which is great if you're on a Harley and you're doing
Right.
a cross-country trip and you need a new wheel or something. You know, you could just pull right in there. But
It does tend to be that way across the world. The perception, anything to do with motorcycle world, it's just going to be that style of biker. And we just want to change that. We want to make everyone feel comfortable no matter what you ride. Well, our Sunday rides have everything from slingshots to Rikers to scooters, and we adapt our ride to that. So why not adapt the rest of it to everything as well?
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
We have, I think you actually had the drawings or the artist renderings.
Yeah.
So they've changed a little bit. They're predominantly white buildings with the red, white, and blue logo, and we're going to keep that.
You can send me those. I'll put them up on.
Yeah, I'll find some. Yeah. But red, white, and blue is definitely our branding colors, and I think we're moving away again from that dark black leather and oranges and that you typically see, and kind of blending the two sport bike brandings with that. So I'm excited about it.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I think everyone is. I mean, you're about it every day. I probably get 20 messages a day about just that. Yeah, it's been weird.
Yeah. I can't imagine like the amount of planning that's going into like just trying to.
I've had to pull back a lot from the group. The only thing I'll always be a part of is those Sunday rides. I always make the time to do the Sunday rides. Thankfully, I've surrounded myself with.
That's one of the things I had on there was about the admins, getting reliable people to help you, because without them, especially a group this, once it starts getting over,
I didn't know I needed them.
Yeah,
I didn't know I needed to worry about anything. Like, again, this was just me and a couple buddies.
And being on like a Facebook group like that, you get bombarded. Next thing you know, you're going to have 27 guys trying to advertise their detailing business every day, and
that is what their job is. I would say the admin's number one job is to remove somewhere between 100 and 150 posts that people are trying to put through, whether they're authentic or not, or they're just multi-posting, or so we've had to stop allowing sales ads in our group. So normally in the beginning, hey, you're selling bikes, just throw it in the group, somebody pick it up.
Yeah,
that became a forum for every dealership.
Yeah, because the next thing you know, the dealerships catch on and they go, "Oh, we got her on it." Yeah, we got 5,000 people right there.
And in theory, take TBMR's members are at 3,400 right now. In theory, it was more like probably 6,000. The two of the admins specifically went through and removed every single spam account that we could identify as it's probably potentially spam. Every foreign account that joined for nefarious reasons, they were private messaging, members. We knocked that number down. We do 50 members, 100 members every week we remove.
Yeah. So because there's always those two like, "Oh, I'm single looking for what?" I'm like, come on.
You get that a lot. Yeah. So we get a lot of that. And I went from just being a regular guy, but a regular Facebook that I barely touched, to now I'm probably getting myself 150, 160 messages every day.
Yeah.
And it'll be from everybody from motorcycle riders to motorcycle magazines to anything in between. We're just trying to get the attention because the group is growing so fast. And I just want to keep it as vanilla as I can, because that's what I think our sweet spot is. It's nothing big, nothing crazy, but the admins, Facebook admins, good ones, do more work by far than they get credit for. And I go out of my way. We have an admin group chat that every day. Thanks, guys. Thank you so much for handling that, because they've given me the liberty to continue making us grow in different ways. So with the motor station
and just planning the Sunday ride or planning the overnight trips, like especially if you're doing multiple of those.
Yeah, it's a task.
Yeah, it's a task. Yeah.
You're planning your route, you're planning your hotel, you're calling ahead, you're negotiating with people for pricing and things, making sure the restaurants have availability. Do you have parking for all of our motorcycles when we do get there? Yeah.
You
don't take our money.
Yeah, you got to take our money. Yeah.
You'll take our money, but you only have 3 spots. These things are things that I didn't know I needed to think about. And having a good admin team, and we definitely went through people to narrow it down to those group of people that have your best interests and the group's best interests. I like to say our motto: any rider, any bike, and then one heart. And the reason that's important to us is because I want everyone to have that same vibe, that same moral standing that the group does. So the admins need to have that too. And then, of course, be hard workers, which they all are. They work their regular jobs, and I know they're doing at least a half day's worth of that for our group itself, because I watch the logs and it's delete this, remove that, report this, and
I get notifications every day on my phone. Like, I'm at work and I'm like, again, this guy with his cardiac attack. I'm like, no,
get out of here.
Yeah, get out of here.
That same exhaust. Okay, cool. But we've definitely strived to as well to keep the group perception itself important. So we typically don't allow the racing videos. like public street racing where we're bragging about running from law enforcement.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Or stunting or doing any danger behavior. So we're taking a moral high ground on that and saying, hey, I get it that y'all like to see this, but I really don't like the message you're sending to the newer riders.
Right.
So let's
you don't want just because then it just gets a whole vibe to the thing.
Now we do support local dealerships and we do allow local dealerships to post, but we have a set of standards and rules that we inform every member of. So we're there enforcing those. So hey, one bike a week, that you can put one bike a week on it.
Yeah, because what happens is like the sales guy at the dealership will just join the group with his personal account.
Yeah.
And then he'll start spamming you.
And then the other 7 people that work at a dealership see him doing it, so they start posting.
Right.
And it tends to be a thing. So we're definitely allowing sales posts for local dealerships. So say Burt's, Barracuda, or the new Buccaneer, the Indian dealership they opened.
Yeah.
We allow them to post whatever their say feature of the week is up there, and we just allow one salesperson, so they can fight over who that is. I don't care, but they're only getting one.
Yeah.
But we want to support as many local businesses. But those admins, they've got it down to the science. There's 6 of them now, and I appreciate every one of them, whether they realize it or not. Well, they know. They definitely know because I feed them. But
yeah,
that's how you get to admin's heart. Give them a sandwich. That's how it works. Yeah. But they do more work than I do now, which is, I guess, a good thing. Is delegate.
Well, that's how you got to do it. Yeah. Especially if you're going to grow and you want to make it, like you said, grow beyond Tampa Bay.
And I think when you said that you were part of a larger group, I think we get a lot of interesting members that share that group trolling. So we want to monitor the negative, the toxic comments.
Oh yeah.
Where we remove them almost immediately. And I haven't seen one in a few weeks come through where it was on there for too long. So we try to keep it as positive as possible too.
Yeah, I see some things in that other group that just blow my mind. Like
I think
somebody will post a picture of themselves and then just people start tearing them down, and I'm just like, come on.
What I've noticed from the groups that were already present when we created this is it tends to be, it's more business related. This is a pool of people I can use for my business, or let me use these numbers to drive business to this location to in turn get something out of it. I think the important thing about TBMR is I don't really want anything out of it besides the ability to have people to ride with.
Right.
I never want the group to feel that way in any regard. I'm never going to have a company that feeds off of it specifically.
Right.
And selfishly have that group there for that sole reason. I want TBMR to always be first. And then whatever grows off of that is part of there and is a benefit to that group, to the group itself. So that's kind of where we are with it. And we're going to continue to live that way as long as it works. So.
Yeah, the Tampa Bay Classic Riders group is part of a global network. They started in New York, but they are all over the world. They have them in Paris and Milan and New York and California, everywhere. There's like 100 different groups that. So I'm in a international chat, like as an admin of our group locally.
That's cool.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. I mean, I haven't really taken advantage of it, but supposedly, you can go in there if you're heading to Paris, you can text the admin over there and say, hey, look, I'm coming, and you got any rides or anybody can borrow a bike?
I'm glad you said that because we call it phases. So phase 1, when we introduced it, we had our first admin meeting, I guess, was to start promoting the group itself and what it stands for. So phase 2 starts in January. And what we're doing with that is we're going to start other cities with the same thing. So we're going to start their own page.
Right. So you could come up with a
universal
name for the top, and then you can have the.
And we've had a lot of fun with that. And I'm open to suggestions, but so we're going to start doing that. But the reason we're starting to do that is hopefully by the end of this year, we're actually been in development with 2 things. The website just got completed. So we've completed our website that ties to everything. It talks about our group rides. We're going to tie that though to something more important, and we're creating an app. You'll be able to get on Android or Apple. The app will do a few things, but one of the really, really important things is, again, routes and rides.
Yes.
Our app will be able to record the routes just like all the other ones. No big deal. We'll also have a chat where you'll be able to say you're going on these rides, or, hey, I'm going to be in Jacksonville. Who else is here riding on this Sunday? Yeah. But the one that I love, the part that I love the most is it's going to tie to everything else Tampa Bay related. So businesses that we have a relationship here that give discounts.
Yeah.
We're going to have businesses in other cities, and you'll actually have a TBMR or a Lightning Rider ID digitally where you can show these businesses at these hotels to get those discounts. So I'm really excited about that. And then the calendar. There'll be a fully integrated calendar where people will be able to RSVP on there for any of the rides for, say, like 2026. That's good. I'm going to New Orleans. That way we know how many people we're coming, which is, logistically speaking, is stupid important.
Right. So that rally I went to in Tennessee, it's for a group called Motorcyclist Map. And that's how it literally started from one guy riding around the country with his wife saying, this is a cool location. And he would just make notes. And then he was like, you know what? He was like a software guy. He goes, I'm going to make an app. And then he made an app, and then he created a Facebook group. And then just like yours, start off a couple hundred people. Now it's got 250,000.
Yeah.
So, and now he's hosting the rallies, and he's got the app.
That's fantastic.
And that's like when I went to the rally, I had to get the app, and I went on there, and it's the same thing. It's got the entire United States with little dots all over it. You can click on a dot in each state, and it'll show you like the big ball string or whatever it is.
Right.
Like anything anybody's ever saw. Oh, there's a cool waterfall here.
That's all. I do like that idea. I think the point of ours was just for newer riders that don't know where to go. Like, just since I created this group, I've learned, 30 more routes that you could take that are really simple within a couple hours.
Yeah.
I just wanted to give a hub again where everything's in one place. So the calendar, the chat, the routes, everything in one little location. That is our branding. So yeah, a name change is definitely in the works for next year or the year after. Hopefully it happens so fast and we sprayed so far that it needs to happen now.
Right.
But that's kind of the goal.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
I'm going to be able to say I feel like I'm important now.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to come back.
My kids think,
Yeah. That's it. Well, you are cool. Yeah. It doesn't matter what your kids think.
Well, no, it does. They don't.
Yeah.
They think so.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we've wrapped up pretty much a whole hour here. I really appreciate you taking the time to come over here. I know I'm not exactly around the corner from you.
Nah, it was a good ride.
Yeah, it's a good ride. Yeah. Next week I'm having our next episode. I'm not sure if it's gonna be next week or not. I'm having Brandon back on. He's going to talk about his recent trip to London and what's ahead for him with the bike shed and all that stuff. And I think I'm also going to have Bruce and Jen on to talk about the event that I mentioned earlier. So if you want to come back for that, and don't forget to sharing this with a friend, like, subscribe, all that stuff. Like I've been saying, subscribe or die. That's been the new motto.
It works.
Yeah. So thanks again for coming, Damien, and go ride a motorcycle.